All right, welcome to Jean-Michel in the house. Welcome to the 10K Club. Thank you for
Thank you
being
very
here.
much.
We appreciate you. So what was the initial problem that you had in your business that drove you to deciding to work with us?
The initial problem was I knew what kind of business I wanted to run. I knew I wanted like a volume business where um, with a group coaching model.
Hmm.
That's all I knew. And I think I saw your ad, and I really there's so many different people out there promoting different lead gen. And you seem like the least full of it. You seem like the
Nice.
most like reasonable person, that I could
Oh,
see you were an actual human being and not just like a marketer,
yeah.
I guess.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's really good to hear. I
So
like
that's why I
that.
joined.
Nice.
Yeah. And I still remember the close on the sales call because it was so positive. I think it was Kyle. And Kyle at some point
Nice.
was like, well, at this point, I'd just like to invite you to join. And I just started laughing, like, that's the close? It's great. Sure. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean we get that a lot, and like we've obviously been in the industry a lot, and uh,
Yeah.
I see a lot of different people's ads, and like we get people giving us feedback all the time, like from other marketers trying to work with you and stuff. And like we've always been, and sometimes I think sometimes that doesn't, like sometimes I do think, should we do more? Like we don't talk about money, we don't talk really, I don't talk about how much money I made really, um, in the whole scale of what we've actually made, because we don't talk about like our agency numbers because they're too big. And so, and then sometimes I think maybe we should, so that more people would actually attract to it. And we could help more people because we, offer great support and we believe in what we do. But that's great to hear. I do enjoy when
Yeah.
we just stick, keep it real. Um, so what have you liked? What have you enjoyed the most? I know it's still early days, but what have you liked the most so far?
Yeah.
Sometimes people say the support, sometimes people say the ad, sometimes people
Uh,
say the organic, sometimes people say the closer
yeah.
process.
For me, the two most useful things for me personally, one was all the mindset stuff in the training because I
Hmm.
didn't realize I needed that, and it made me like go down this rabbit hole of mindset and everything. And then the call reviews,
Cool.
just the like live feedback on the call reviews,
Hmm.
um, because yeah, the thing I learned was I guess I get caught up in like trying to do the script right, and it's like
Hmm.
the wrong frame of mind, and so that was great feedback to like learn how to not do that or hear how not to do that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like I think when people are initially like wanting to scale and maybe they've done a
Yeah.
bit of sales before, they're like, oh, I don't really need any help with that. But then they realize like the when you're converting cold traffic, the alignment of the ad to the piece of content to that sales process, and in today's world to not be pushy and still deliver a valued session so clarity is actually given and client is
Yeah.
clear and client trusts and client wants to work with that potential person in a short period of time all comes down to the right feedback and the right processes that are not old school selling. So yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Um, did you have any concerns? Were you worried about anything before you joined?
I was worried that because I'm not a coach, I'm doing like B2B. I mean, I guess I'm business coaching, but it's not the same thing as, personal life things. So I worried that that wouldn't be a good fit.
Yeah, that makes sense. But look, I mean, so I see like consultancy and coaching, therapists, uh,
Yeah, similar.
teacher, not similar, they're all the same. It's
Yeah.
like in today's world, you're delivering information and how that information translates to your service. Obviously tailor it towards your niche, but in essence the structure of how we deliver the information is all the same. So it's
Yeah.
amazing how many people get caught up. I had a session the other day and we were doing a live webinar. She's like, I'm a therapist, so it's very different for me. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I know everybody thinks that, right? Yeah. Me too, I
No, it's
guess. Yeah.
a normal part of, yeah, it's a normal part of like thinking, and you want to make sure it's the right thing for you. And more often than not, people have bought things today and have been let down and have had, they bought
Yeah.
something and there isn't actually any real support. That's the biggest one that we hear. That's why we do like 8 clinics a week, so that
Yeah.
there's real people there all the time. And, that we spend a lot to make sure that people are, being, harassed to go through it rather than buy something
Yeah.
and not have that. So that's cool. Well, what would you say to someone that was on the edge of joining, that may be a bit nervous?
Um, what would I say? Someone on the edge, maybe a bit nervous. What would I actually say to them? Um, I mean, this is a great way to accelerate your progress. I mean, figuring all this out on your own would take you longer. But just that's all it is. So if you want to go faster, do it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, do you reckon you
Yeah.
could have figured it out on your own?
Uh,
And you're a
you know
tech
what?
person.
Yeah, I think well, you guys, when you're advertising and even in the sales process, you don't actually cover everything that's in the program. It's
No,
just focused on
it's
that
too
one
much.
problem. Yeah. And so I don't think I knew the parts that I needed.
Yeah.
So that was like the surprise benefit was like, oh, actually, this is my biggest problem. Let's
Mm.
go there. Um, um, so yeah, I mean that well, now I totally lost my train of thought, but that
No, you're
I would
doing
say
great.
like, yeah, that's what th- you might not know all the parts that you're
Yeah.
missing, and that's another reason to jump into getting somebody else's experience because they know more than you
It,
do at
it's
some part of the
it's
puzzle if they've done the whole thing.
it's like learning the guitar, right? It's like if you are the first stage of that, you think maybe this is the thing that you need to do. And it's like when I
Yeah,
first started learning the piano, I took an online course, and it was like
yeah,
a method where you don't have to worry about what note you press with the fingers, right? And
yeah,
and although I had the pattern, I would, when it came to do a scale, I've already trained my hands with the wrong fingers. So when I went to a
yes,
teacher, she was like, "That's fine, but you will never be able to pay certain pieces. Like, so at some stage, you're
yeah,
gonna you're gonna dent your progression because you've taken a shortcut and now you've learnt the wrong finger method." And I was like, well, surely.
yeah,
And she goes, you want to play this piece, you're not going to get that ever. So
yeah,
I was like, oh shit, I damaged
yeah,
myself early on. And so, yeah, it's very normal. Like, we focus down on how we can help someone with a very specific problem, but we cover absolutely everything. So as that person's going through, they go, oh, this is covered, this is covered, this is covered. But dude, thank you so much for
yeah.
being here, because it doesn't happen
Welcome. Thank
without
you.
amazing people with yourself. So let's get down to our session and let's put a
Okay.
0 on that 10K.